Where? Oh shit! I got the wrong background. Bollocks.
You know, I don't think anybody would notice but you. Like, you know these things.
No, that looks really weird. When we still have, where is it? When we have that one up, that looks weird. Yeah. Like, there's no frame. We're blocking the thing. I would put us like in the bottom left and right, if anywhere. Okay. And then this one is like perfectly framed.
Oh. Plus, it has all the shit.
Oh, all the shit, fully dilated. All of the shit. Boing. Oh. See? Didn't fit in the space. She's going to do this a lot if I keep mentioning fully dilated, so I won't be saying that anymore. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Again.
You didn't say it again. My computer is acting up. So this will be fun.
Look at that throne in the background.
When Ian says bollocks, it sounds okay. When I say balls, it sounds inappropriate.
When Americans can't say bollocks, it's one of the swear words you guys cannot, for some reason, wrap your tongues around.
Bollocks.
Bollocks. Boll.
Bollocks.
Not bollocks.
Bollocks.
Boll.
Bowl.
No, boll.
Bowl.
Boll.
Bowl. I'm saying what
No, you're not. Boll.
Yeah, bowl.
As in bolognese.
Bolognese.
There we go. Boll.
Bollocks.
Bollocks.
Bowl. Bollocks.
Bollocks. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Bollocks.
Wow.
Boll. It's not bowl. Boll.
Daleks?
Daleks. Close.
Daleks.
Gosh. No, Daleks.
Happy birthday to Slab Jr. tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Slab Jr. tomorrow.
Way to age.
Right.
Way to age and just keep on keeping on.
That's what she said.
Really? Really, guys?
It's been so long.
Exterminate.
It's been a long road. Oh.
So many. We didn't have any like crazy turkey animal stories though, so that was kind of boring.
That's disappointing. Yeah. Well, your turkey didn't try and run away after you cooked it.
Does that happen?
I don't know. What else, like, what other crazy stuff could happen with a cooked turkey? I imagine that's the craziest, that it just realigns itself and then runs away.
Yeah, I guess if we're in the land of that much imagination, anything is possible.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Mm-hmm. I did tell them about was it a Chihuahua that you decided not to rescue?
Oh, it wasn't a Chihuahua. It was
beagle.
a hound. Yeah, it was like a hound dog, like a beagle.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I decided not to rescue. It's that I made many attempts and I failed.
Oh, no, I told that story as you decided not to rescue it this time.
Well, I guess you don't know me that well.
No, that's not how I told the story. Jonathan was not surprised at all. He was like, oh yeah, she does that all the time.
I really do. Yeah, and I was in a situation where I really didn't have any time. I shouldn't have spent the time doing anything other than work.
Yeah.
But when there is a life at risk, I think, okay, work can wait. Yeah. I left the rescuing to the very capable hands of the police officer who seemed annoyed that I was
that you were helping?
No, that I was leaving.
Oh.
I was like, you know what? This is somebody who we pay to serve the community and so by you do your job and do the thing.
Yeah. Don't get mad at me.
I think it was more like he pulled over, and I'm going to read into this a bit, but when he pulled over to see why I was parking in the middle of the road and had my hazards on and stuff, probably to investigate and help, like he saw the dog, he turned down the road the dog was walking down, and then he pulled over, came out of the car and was sort of walking alongside the dog as it was, adventuring around in people's yards and such. And then whenever I got closer, he said, "Is this your dog? I can help you get to your dog." And I was like, "Oh no, it's not my dog." And he just goes,
oh no. This suddenly became a bigger problem.
Yeah, I think he assumed, understandably, that I was attempting to get my dog. So he thought, I will help get her dog into her vehicle. But then it was this big, nebulous
Now it's just
situation.
a him problem.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because I assumed for some reason that you saw the dog and the cop was already there. But that's really unlucky for the cop. So you've pulled over. They've pulled over to help you. And you're like, oh, bye.
Congratulations.
Your problem now.
To be fair, I helped for an additional 10 minutes before leaving the police officer to it. So attempts were made.
Did you lose sight of the dog? How was it taking 10 minutes to capture a beagle?
Well, the little beagle,
bushes?
It was a little lady beagle, and she was running away. She was very scared. Yeah. Let's listen to some music.
Oh, I have walk call.
Yeah, she was a scared little beagle. I have hope that beagle made its way back home, but I did not go onto the animal control website to find out because I don't know if I can handle and feel like, I don't know.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyway.
It was a goat. Wasn't a sheep, it was a goat.
What?
The goat that I accidentally let free. Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if I have a scar from that, actually. What
Your
what is
problem
this,
now?
What is this comment? No one should ghost you, both because ghosting is shitty behavior and because you're rad as hell. Who are you talking to?
This is... Sarah said, let's all take bets. Will Mike the electrician show up tomorrow or will he ghost me? So this is a professional ghosting, not
okay.
This isn't anything to do with Sarah being ghosted. This is a professional ghosting, which is very annoying.
That's really frustrating.
Very frustrating.
That's when I leave Google reviews.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, I left a 1-star Google review yesterday.
Okay, I want to hear about that, but can we talk about how the dog has taken over the entire couch?
Yeah, he's the alpha.
And Reese's is just now a floor dog.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's going to make it go
permission.
for it. He's going to make it go for it.
Permission to go back up.
Look at his face.
Don't you try it, buddy.
Look at his little tilted head. What is going on back here?
I think he's assuming that you're going to give him love because you're talking about him.
Too. Yeah. Oh, what is happening? Boys, get up there.
That's not going to last.
I do need a dog cam link. Absolutely. Look at that.
Tell us more about the couch and where it came from, Sci-Fi Brony says.
Okay, well, weren't you going to tell a story? You were just about to tell a story.
Oh, yeah. This is... So I went to see Conclave, which is a new movie that I've been very excited to see. This starts back a month ago. Look at Reese's.
I know. So
Twix is like, he's in the spot that I want, Mom.
Scoot your butt back, dude.
He's in my spot.
You have so much. This is how they are every time they lay down. Too. It's like you have so much.
He's in my spot.
Go on. Tell your 1-star review story.
It starts like a month ago when I had an opportunity to see Conclave in like an advanced screening, but I had to miss it because a work thing came up that I had to do. They're so sweet.
Why are you stopping?
Because I want your attention, Danae. I'm a puppy.
Oh, puppy Ian.
Puppy Ian needs attention. So, anyway, missed that script. But I was like, it doesn't matter. Since my cinema is showing an advanced screening, I'll be able to see it when it regularly comes out. No. This advanced screening was the only time they're showing this movie. They're showing an advanced screening for a movie that they aren't even screening properly. Like, just annoyed me. So I had to go half an hour away to a bigger cinema where I could actually see the movie that I wanted to watch. And I had to do that on Friday. So I get there, I watch the movie, it's great. It then takes me 1 hour to get out of the car park. An hour. Just think about that. And one parking lot, an hour. Do you know how poorly designed your car park has to be for anyone to be stuck in there for an hour? And this isn't like a multi-story thing where you're at the top and you're in one line. I kind of get that. This was an open air retail park, big thing, outdoors. An hour.
Are you okay?
An hour. And you had me hostage for an hour in a car park.
So when you say you left a 1-star review, it's because of their poor car park planning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I left the entire retail park a 1-star review because it held me captive for 1 hour. I was in there for almost as long as an entire film. Like, I could, it was so annoying. And it's all because it's bad design. There's one roundabout, and this roundabout leads on to like 3 different major roads. So that roundabout isn't just servicing a car park, it's servicing 3 major roads that lead in and out of the town that I went to see this movie in. An hour.
So it sounds like you made a mistake of going to the wrong theater.
They made a mistake by not being able to design a car park. A car park with one entrance that can fit 1,000 cars or something ridiculous. There is no circumstance where you should be stuck in a car park for an hour.
I like how
unless there's an accident.
Like you're blaming, right? Because like, what, do you know why there was a backup?
Poor design. There was no...
Are you sure?
Yes, because I drove everything around. No accident, no nothing.
But that was an hour later. Maybe it cleared up.
Bullshit. That's nonsense. Absolutely. But this is poor design. This is, bottom line, shitty design. If you're going to have a retail space with a cinema, restaurants, shopping things, you've got to... And you have a space to fit 600 cars, you've got to be able to let those cars get out. It's insane. An hour.
Man.
An hour.
Mm-hmm. I heard you the first 17 times. I feel bad for you, but I feel like next time you can just make a different choice for a different theater. Like drive 30 minutes the other direction.
No, I can't, because the other option is an hour away.
Which is still going to save you time.
I didn't know. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that.
Welcome to the parking garage, California. They need to sell more things from those stores. Why let people leave? I remember parking in a garage in New Orleans where the design was for cars to park double deep.
Oh, no.
I did not understand how that would work.
So you have to wait for the person behind you to... That's bullshit. There's no way that happens.
That's crazy.
That actually, we have been somewhere like that.
We really do, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
All the time I think this. All the time. Transportation is what I think all the time. As if we could just... I mean, would I do it? But anyway.
Nope, I wouldn't do it. Wow, did you at least say something positive of the theatre itself? So, the theatre has its own rating system. This is specifically for the retail park, not the theatre. So I didn't give the theatre a 1-star review.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. There is a Google entry for just the parking garage?
The retail park. It's not a garage. It's wide open. It's open air.
So it's not just a parking lot for just the theater. It's a parking lot for everything around it.
Multiple restaurants, the theater, clothing stores, electronics stores. There's like 30 shops. It's huge retail estate.
And obviously very poor planning.
Piss poor planning.
Can you give a 1-star review to your country for just having poor regulations?
I mean, yeah, that's called the election. And we did that in June. Or July.
That's not what I mean, and you know it.
I mean, I could report it, but I don't think that's going to change anything. That's like, I think speaking with reviews can often be a force for making me feel better.
Yeah, I try to
Not
be
a
really
force for good.
careful when I decide to throw out a 1 star. It's for a really good reason.
It's wasting 1 hour of my life is a good reason.
But is it a waste? I mean, you have a chance to listen to a podcast. You have a chance to spend money on gas. It's just being done nothing
You're coming
with.
up with great answers. Be angry at the other drivers that keep pulling in front of me.
1 pip for Britain.
1 pit, Britain. Just so annoying. Wandering said, can someone tell me when he's done talking about Conclave? I'm pretty sure that film and discussion thereof will only serve to upset me, so I'm muting. Oh,
So why did you bring it back up?
I'm sorry, because I saw the message was starred and I wanted to read it.
Oh, I see.
I didn't start
Yeah,
the
we're
message.
done. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Oh, I didn't mention the movie at all.
We're not doing that. We're moving on.
Nope. It's all right.
I was going to try to do something here and tell you guys a story. Let me see if I can work this out, because obviously Thanksgiving has happened. Family has come to town.
Mm-hmm.
Food was had. Messes were made.
Many foods.
Lots of food. And I have a family that does not like to delineate from the traditional meals. And then I had my best friend was over, and she decided that she was going to be some sort of cooking goddess, and she spent 2 days preparing and making these really incredible meals. And beets, we had beets for the first time ever, but they were really, really yummy. I need to ask her to describe her dishes in text, because I can't do it service unless I actually repeat it. But the night before, no, I think it was it was the night before. I'm pretty sure it was the night before. Thanksgiving, I was brushing Iris's teeth, because sometimes she's like, Mom, I don't want to do it. And I heard the dogs, oh crap, where did it go? I heard the dogs really giving a fuss and barking at each other, but I didn't know that they were barking at each other. I thought they were barking at the cat. And it was the growly kind of barking, where you kind of have to worry that there is something bigger kind of going on. It was
territorial,
it had a little bit of that sound to it. And then I heard a whimpering sound, and in my mind, I thought that the dogs were likely attacking the cat, and the cat had just swiped an eyeball, and because it kind of could have been that. So I come running out of the bathroom to address the situation, and I just had it pulled up, but I pushed the wrong button. I caught myself on video. I had to go back and watch this. I said, "What the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Iris heard it.
Yeah.
And she's not used to me saying this.
That's weird. She should be.
No, I've been really good. Really, really good. Let's see if I can do this. So. Go load up. Okay. Can you hear this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is exactly what my daughter hears, because this is on the audio of my cameras.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? Nope, that was me. What the fuck?
Oh, that was aggressive.
It was really intense.
Sometimes it's easy to miss the C and the K.
No.
But you got both of them. Yeah, you got the C and the
legit.
K.
I thought I was coming out into an animal fight. I thought like I was in boss mode.
Yeah.
And it was just out of me.
Oh,
it was
my
with
gosh.
authority.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You want to hear it again?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. What the fuck?
Oh, so you put 3 syllables in that.
It was intense. Okay,
Yeah.
so Iris is in.
Exactly.
Right. So she's in the bathroom, which is just, very close, and she hears it. Now, she was having hard times. She was in a sad mood, and so she has some tears going on because she was having a hard time. But when she hears me say this, the way that I said it, which is very different than she's ever, like, she doesn't hear me talk like that.
No.
That was like that was a lot. Because I'm like, I'm breaking up an animal fight here and I'm going to come in alpha. And so I did. And she gets this like little glint in her eye and like a little grin because this is a new word from mom. It's an intense word from mom. And she is really good at listening to language now and reading and writing. And so when she's heard me say it in the past, it's been like a word mixed in with many other words and she can't really pull out the word she's not supposed to say. This, as you rightfully pointed out, was enunciated.
Yeah.
So I come back in. That was
the verb in that sentence.
Yeah, that was a lot. So I kind of was like, oh no, but the rule is you don't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where that doesn't work.
That's true, but right now, in her phase of life and her age and like how things have been going, if you just kind of like don't say anything, she doesn't notice. Yeah. So when I've said shit in front of her, she doesn't, unless I make a big deal of it. Like if I say, Iris, I just said something da-da-da-da-da, and I draw attention to it, then she's like, oh, this is a big deal. If I just move on, maybe she doesn't think it's a big deal. But when you make it a big deal, then that's when the energy gets into
Hopefully it goes into the short-term memory bank and just gets disappeared. It's gone. Hey, what was I doing? You were going to bed. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Except for that, the more I think about it, because I didn't see what happened in the adjacent room, I heard what happened. And my fear was that the cat had done what I thought the cat might be doing, and that the cat was now needing to hide somewhere, maybe injured. And I'm like, oh my God, I have my cameras. I can just look and see what happened. Mm-hmm. So I do that. And I turn the volume down, except for that my phone, which is very frustrating, has 17 volume options of various things that could be open and on. And I turned the wrong one down. So at full volume, oh no. She's in bed and I'm there with her. And I decide I'm going to watch it right there instead of just, waiting a couple minutes because I was worried about the cat. So she hears that. Right, like just loud as can freaking be right there. What the fuck? I look over at her and I was like, and she looks at me and she gets that same glint in her eyes.
She knows.
And like the smile. And I'm just ignoring it. And I'm looking for the cat. I don't see it. I decide to watch it again. Turn the volume down this time.
Yeah.
Except for that I don't. I make a mistake again. And so, what the fuck? Because I had screamed at them. Did you hear do you want to hear what that sounded like?
I heard the scramble, yeah. Oh, what the fuck? That sounds like someone's getting eaten.
I'm like, oh, I was worried. But on that last watch, I was confirmed. Cat's fine. It was just the dogs.
Dogs being dicks.
There was a noise. Reese's came up on little Twix's butt. Twix got a little sassy, turned around, nipped at Reese's. Reese's whimpered and ran away. It was a big deal. I used to have big dogs. Like, I don't let dogs make that noise because it can escalate quickly. I didn't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, thank you, Link. I agree. So at this point, though, Iris, she goes, what the funk? And she tries to emulate what I said. And now my job is to not be entertained.
That's hard.
And so I said, Iris, you can't say that. Like, you can't say that. And she goes, oh, okay. Now, a little backstory real quick. There are some words that she knows she cannot say at school, but I'm okay with her saying in the house.
Okay, that's a good distinction.
Specifically, the word butthole. I feel like that's... She talks about...
Crusty butthole.
Crusty butt, exactly. And one day I talked about how important it is to wipe because we don't want to have a crusty butthole. Immediately regretted using those phrases. Like, I immediately regretted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she started to sing a song about it, and I started laughing. And it was one of those moments I couldn't keep it together. She starts singing a song about the crusty butthole, and I just I thought it was really funny, and I went into the moment. So we made a rule. You have, like, yes, you can say that, but you can only say it at the home. Like, I don't want you getting in trouble at school or bombing Bobo's house or really anywhere. Just keep it home. Keep it home. Buttholes for the home only. She put...
Oh, God. Just context. Mum said I have to keep the buttholes at home. What?
I know, Sci-Fi. I thought I turned the volume down, this stupid fucking phone, and me not being able to be like, which one is the volume slider for this particular app? Anyway, so she goes, okay, Mama, I won't. And I was like, okay, thank you. And she goes, what the fuck? Now she's using an N. I'm not correcting her. I'm not correcting her. And I was like, Iris, I just told you not to say that. She goes, oh, I thought it was a I can say it at home situation. I said, no, this one's off limits anywhere.
No, this one's a no. There is no funk. Hey, Danae, how did you end up banning funk in the house?
Oh.
Funk has been banned in the household for a long time now.
I had to warn my family when they came over for Thanksgiving that I'm on a what the funk watch. And if it happens, just say to her, we don't say that. We
don't do that.
Yeah.
No.
Hi! Wow, it has been forever. How are you? She's really good at, I don't know that she intended to test a boundary. She genuinely thought it was a you can only use it at home word. But now it's in there. Now it's in there forever.
I'm waiting for somebody, this will happen in a few years when some other kid will be like, what the fuck was that? And she's like, you're saying it wrong. You're
saying it wrong. It's funk.
It's actually pronounced
She probably
funk.
would too.
The N is silent.
Oh my God.
Oh golly.
I was confident, but she hasn't said it since. It's been days now.
That's good.
It's been days. So she was like, I wish I could have captured her face. But there was this glint in her eye, this grin that she knew Mom's upset, Mom's serious. She said a word I've never heard before. Like, I want to do that
this
too.
This is different. Yeah. This is a new behavior I want to emulate. Oh dear.
Yeah, we had that would have been, there's two things that could have been really bad for Thanksgiving, and that would have been one of them, is just at the table being like, what the funk kind of a dinner is this? You know, just
this turkey is funky.
What the funk?
Wait, no, that would work.
Yeah.
Some funky turkey.
Oh man, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
To answer a question that has already been answered, Britain does not have a Thanksgiving because we like to invade other people, not our own, because our own has been very complicated, because I think the Germans technically invaded us the most comprehensive time. So yeah, we don't have Thanksgiving. I was Aaron, I was doing some work on the day that everyone else was doing Thanksgiving, and he said, oh, you pesky Brits not celebrating Thanksgiving. I said, we do celebrate Thanksgiving, we just call it Sundays. Like, your Thanksgiving dinner is just our Sunday dinner.
Your Sunday roast.
Yeah, we have a Sunday roast that's very Thanksgiving-y, and we just do that on Sundays. We don't want to wait once a year for that shit.
It's so true, because I remember the first time that I visited, and you're talking about a Sunday roast, and I asked more about that, and you started describing kind of the general thing, and I'm like, that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that's
Thanksgiving. Just
that's
every
Thanksgiving.
Friday.
That's
Every Sunday.
That's Thanksgiving. But not every Sunday. They have a roast often. Very often they have a roast, but it's very similar. Like, it's a whole spread.
Sunday. Yeah, it's a whole spread. When growing up, it was basically every Sunday. It really was.
Yeah.
It's usually chicken. Turkey we do reserve for Christmas usually, but it's usually a big roast chicken with the potatoes, the roast, the gravy, the stuffing. Which, do you call that Thanksgiving topping or something? No. I heard a short that said that there's a different, maybe a regional thing in America, but it's like Thanksgiving topping, or that's basically true. Our stuffing.
We are a huge country, so
yeah,
there's so many
regional thing.
Yeah, very, very regional things. I'm just trying to figure out like what kind of traditions are really important to me and my family because so much has changed. My grandfather passed away, I think like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. My grandmother passed away a year ago, and they were the ones that would always have the door open and people coming over to their home. And, you know, if there was weirdness between siblings or grandkids or any kind of variation in between, it was all put aside and you just sit around. And we had a table that extended out and could seat like 20 people, and we would fill that table and the adjacent rooms table that could maybe do 10, and we just this huge Thanksgiving. It was very much the Norman Rockwell sort of vibe going on, and a lot changed as they got older. And then you've got, I don't know that I would say fractured, but you have just all the individual families are doing kind of their own thing, and then everything's kind of shifting and changing. So I'm trying to figure out what sort of thing I want to keep going forward. Because last year and this year, when my best friend came, it was the best because like my person, like I had Bailey's in my coffee for the first time ever during Thanksgiving, and it was super yummy and fun.
It's so good.
Like we just kind of made up our own little coffee and like did a little cheers in the kitchen and just laughed and had our own inside jokes, and it was really nice while everybody else was in the living room talking about whatever they were talking about. And I kind of like that vibe. Yeah, getting funked up. So
I think this is what I meant. Yeah, we call stuffing, but if it's not in the bird, then it's dressing.
So it's turkey and dressing after the blessing. It's from a song, so maybe that's...
okay, there you go.
I thought that dressing was like in our family, we call the dressing what we put on the bird, which like in my brain has been like gravy, but we call that gravy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But salad dressing is a different thing. Yeah.
And we just call it stuffing over here. Oh, stuffing is so good.
Are you guys on Blue Sky? Yes, I'm on Blue Sky. I just started on Blue Sky, and it's the same. It's just Danae Says.
Yeah, and I'm at Whitsind. Whitsind.
And Jeremy just followed me a couple of days ago, so I'm really not that present on social media on any platform.
Yeah, not yet.
So I'm not really like... Where is the couch origin story? Well, I will say this is actually part of my family. So this is the red velvet couch that sat in my grandmother and grandfather's, what the grandchildren refer to as the no-no room, because that's all we were ever told going in there is no. Like you don't touch things. It's
I have a no-no wall.
Yeah, and yours is even more confusing because it clearly looks like toys.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So this room had like this nice seating chairs, furniture from we have a farmhouse that goes back like 8 generations. So there's furniture that came from like my 8th great grandfather, and so I started to kind of get some of this, but this one was one of the ones that like all of us have been sat on and taken pictures on my whole life. And so when grandmother decided that she was going to start kind of giving the family things, this was one of the ones that was on the list of, does anybody in the upper echelon want it? The kids want it, and then it goes down into the grandkids, and it cycled around the grandkids, and I snagged it up, and it has been in my bed.
Pretty.
It has been in my bedroom.
Pretty.
But I really wanted it to be more on display, but it shouldn't be sat on for just silliness. It's definitely like a sitting couch. It's very delicate in a lot of ways.
Like,
and so I decided that I wanted it to bring it here.
Yeah.
I was a little worried that it'd be too busy behind me. So I've got plans to kind of clean all of this up and add some plants and stuff as time goes on. But I'm trying it out today, and obviously the dogs like it.
Yeah. I mean, they're not 4 dogs now.
Do you guys like it? You're already following Ian. Awesome.
Is mine now. My bottom is on it.
I'm very fortunate because a lot, like my mother has a lot of the furniture, like the bigger piece items from my grandmother and my grandfather and the generations and generations past. So I know someday I'm gonna be given all of that furniture. Like one of my favorites is
That's smart thinking.
Is this table that has like this it has claw foot, like lion's claw feet. It's pretty freaking cool. It's a very like I want to play Dungeons and Dragons on that table so bad. Just have my friends over and we're rolling dice and there's just like this claw foot table. Anyway, so I just kind of sat back and just wanted all the other grandkids, there's a lot of us, to have a chance at it. And it was one of the last pieces in the house that hadn't really been fully claimed, and I definitely liked it and wanted it, but I didn't want anyone to feel like I was trying to take their stuff. So I asked the person who was taking it if they were like wanting it, and she said, I'm only taking it to make sure it doesn't get sold somewhere. If you actually want it, take it. And I was like, okie dokie.
I'll take the love couch.
So I'm just kind of lucky.
It's so pretty. It's very pretty.
You're right, Link.
No, she does not.
Oh, like a little bitty chihuahua.
You don't want a chihuahua.
Do you mean by peeing on things, Phil? So
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
Is that it?
It's usually chewing on them.
The best
should get
thing
into
is
the
this is
show.
a couch, so it's way harder for you to take this away and make them. You're such a butt, brony. I don't take it away on purpose.
Oh, they're so sad. They know that he's wagging. He knows I don't take it from me.
You took away our bed so many times.
We're always floor dogs.
We're always floor dogs if you take away our... Yeah, you're right. If it is a couch, you're right. We probably should do the show. You ready?
Yeah, do it. Do our intro.
All right, guys. We're going to be talking about Captain's Pod episode... Lower Decks episode 7? Or is this 8?
7.
Ooh, you've already done this. This is going to be the banner at the bottom when we go live, and that means that we're going to stop telling life stories and get to talking about Star Trek, which is why you're here. Obviously, we talked a little bit long today because we missed you, and we're happy to hang out. Plus, it's a Saturday, so we got a little bit more time to hang out. So thanks for being here. We are live on... What the fuck are you doing?
We're an R-rated show. Oh, wait, it's backwards. Is it back? It's backwards.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Shit, no, hang on.
No,
Need to mirror it. There we go. There we go. This is an R-rated show.
Well, yeah. We are an R-rated show. We talk on an R-rated level. Please keep that in mind at all times, especially when you listen to the outtakes.
I've heard of an R. I've just never seen one in real life.
We're streaming live on multiple places, so those who are able to join on YouTube, thank you for being here. We did see your comment that the most recent episode of Captain's Pod isn't up on YouTube yet. We will figure that out on Monday when we get back to work, so we'll figure out why that. So thank you for telling us about that.
Yes, I did make a note of that link. Thank you. I am irritated, but we shall figure it out.
And then we are also on Twitch on 2 different locations, my personal Twitch and also on the CinemaSins live channel. And I don't think we're going on to X anymore.
No, because you have to pay to do that, and fuck that noise.
Fuck that noise.
Fuck.
Let's see, anything else? Oh, yeah. We say fuck, very enunciated.
Yeah.
And also we steal your comments at times because we have the same thoughts.
Yeah. We are
and we
one.
do pin your thoughts for later. So as soon as Ian turns off the warp core sound, we'll get started.
Warp core sound brings me such peace. I miss it already. Okay. My thoughts are just this. Torpedoes. And a phaser. Yeah, it's really loud. Sorry. It's really loud. Okay. Are you trying to do the Vulcan mind meld thing?
Shut up. Do the show.
It's like
Shut
that.
up and do the show, Captain.
You gotta get there, and then up there. Although it would be the other side. It'd be like that. It's like that kind of. Just don't get too much. But then sometimes like Spock will like wiggle around the face a little bit to get like different zones of the brain.
Do you realize it's just like this? He's just flipping you off.
Yeah, he's just like... Okay. Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show of the... What?
What part of the show of that?
What was that?
What is happening?
That was so weird. I didn't even change this bit.
Wow.
Welcome to...
Wow. Do you need a second? Do you need a second?
Well, there we go.
Oh my God, you're broken. He's never going to be able to do the show again.
Fuck.
First time. Babes, I guess I'll be his captain for today.
No, you can't pilot the ship, Babs.
Oh my God, Babs piloting the ship. That would be
Whee!
stupid.
Welcome to 10 Forward, the part of the show where we grab a drink from the replicator and share our media thoughts and feelings on the episode we just watched. We're powering through together. Most important question first. What is your thing of choice from the replicator?
A shrimp.
A shrimp,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
What was that cocktail?
I think it was shrimp. He said what it was, but I can't. Let me see if I can look it up because it had a very specific name. What was Boimler drinking in most recent Captain's Pod episode? That's not the name of their show.
No, that's not going to work.
What?
Michelada's?
Beer, lime juice, sauces, spices, chili peppers, and was served as an elaborate skewer of shrimp.
That's fucking weird.
Michelada.
Well,
What's
you can have one of
Michelada?
those, and I'm going to have some of Tullin's melons.
Michelada was a cocktail originating from Mexico on Earth. Consists of beer, lime juice, sauces, spices, chili peppers, and a skewer of shrimp.
That sounds delicious.
How do we not? What are you going to drink?
Oh, I'm gonna have some of Tullin's melons. Give us a synopsis, Ambassador.
Well, first, I just want to thank Memory Alpha for helping me find out what the name of that one was.
I love how quickly Memory Alpha gets updated. It's amazing.
So right now I'm thinking about melons.
Yeah, you are. You're thinking about Tullin's melons?
Mm-hmm. They were huge.
They were ample.
What am I supposed to be doing right now?
Synopsis.
Yes. In today's episode, we go full TNG.
Yeah.
And we also have data. That's all that matters.
It's the data episode. That's what counts.
It's the data episode that we want. It's the purple data episode that we want. It's the living your life a few seconds equals years of time episode.
Time dilation. Yes. Yes. I'm so happy. So happy.
We have two science officers that are both trying to get promoted. And so due to the greatest sin of this show, every episode, miscommunication.
Of course.
Tendi thinks that they're in a competition. Tullin thinks they're just trying to survive. And it creates the tension that drives this episode. And Mariner realizes that this is her opportunity to try to Picard, I guess. And so she does stupid shit as well.
Yeah.
Also, Boimler and Rutherford are growing facial hair, which Boimler's is looking fantastic, by the way. And they fuck up a transport because another sin. Apparently, there's only one transport room on the entire fucking studios.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. That's insane considering what's at stake. Obviously, data is the huge news. Can you imagine if because it's purple data, can you imagine if they changed his voice as well? Do you know how cheated we would feel?
Oh, no.
If it was data, but with a different, it would be, I'm so glad they actually got Brent Spiner.
No, there would be rioting. I don't think that they would even do it if they couldn't have Brent Spiner.
100%. Yeah. Overall thoughts and feelings. What did you think about the episode?
Well, okay, so I kind of maybe shot myself in the foot a bit because the first thing I did this morning, besides drink a little bit of water and pee, was to go and watch last week's episode because I wanted to see it. I wanted to be fresh on my mind. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And you're also surprised. I know.
Yeah.
But then I watched this episode and I had so much fun with the last episode that I was a bit worried that it would overshadow this one. But I think I really loved it. I mean, how can I not? It had so much of the TNG-esqueness. And well, you heard me freak out. I feel like, because you're going to edit this podcast. Can you just insert my data screen right here?
Done. Oh, I can do that on my thing. Yeah, done.
Yeah. So that was excitement. I was obviously really happy to find the head of Data. I mean, this is a sinful episode.
It is. Yeah.
Really sinful, in my opinion. I had more sins than I think I've had.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
3 or 4 episodes. I don't know. Maybe it's because I took a week off. I don't know.
You coming at it fresh?
Maybe I'm coming at it fresh.
In the sin mode.
But I think the big takeaways are that the Rift has returned, that we got to see the Purple Enterprise, which I don't understand the reference, but I'm sure Ian does.
No, there is no, though. It's just this universe is purple. That's it.
Oh.
The purple D.
Oh, okay. Which is an eggplant, right?
I think it's just to be a dick joke. I think they really liked the idea of the purple D. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, I think we played on a lot of cliches of various episodes of various shows, including the creepy guy that's always peeping. And that's it. What did I miss? Am I missing anything else?
No, I think you got it all. Yeah.
And we have, is this our first? No, it's not our first. So Tendi and T'Lyn end the episode co-chairing the engineer space.
Chief Science Officer.
Yeah. Chief Science Officer on the bridge.
Yes.
Okay. This isn't the first time that there's been a promotion given to our team, because Boimler's already on the bridge and Mariner's on the bridge.
Well, most of them, they've all been on the bridge from day one. Like, you can have ensigns that are on the bridge, because I think they're on like the command pathway, and you can have Wesley is a weird one, but yeah, you can have I think Geordie was an ensign before he was a weird one. Because he was an acting ensign. He wasn't even a commissioned officer, and yet they still gave him a bridge position, which was fucking on the flagship, which is such an insult to anybody that's actually had to work for a job. Nepotism. They've all been promoted to lieutenant, and this is like an additional promotion to, hey, everything sciencey kind of goes through you. It's a really big position for just a lieutenant to have, is my understanding. But maybe it's because the Cerritos is a less senior ship, so it doesn't have to be as higher rank. Like, the barrier to entry, like being science officer on the Cerritos isn't as important as being science officer on Voyager or the Enterprise or something.
If the captain heard you say that, she'd be pissed at you.
I think she'd know.
Burritos matter.
Yeah.
I guess I asked because I wasn't really quite clear on if this promotion or whatever with Tendi is kind of the biggest one we've seen on screen so far. For the crew.
Like it.
It feels like it.
It feels like it is, because like it's Spock. Like, Spock is the chief science officer on the Enterprise. Like, it's a big position to fill. I guess Data would be. I don't think it's actually spelled out on TNG.
Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting shit. I like that. Yeah, I really, really, really liked the episode. Of course, this episode had everything in the recipe to be Ian's bag. It's got time travel shenanigans. It's got a ton of references to other episodes. It has a reference to one of my favorite Voyager episodes, Blink of an Eye. It has Data in it. It's so much fun. I love it. It's got time travel. It's got Data. It's got all of the things that I would love. So yeah, I had a hugely fun.
I'm a simple man.
Give me Data and time travel. I love it. I'm a Times Arrow apologist. So I don't think that's a terrible two-parter, but a lot of people do. But I like it because it's got Data in it.
And this episode also did something kind of unique, because it spent very little time on the B plot, which is Boimler and Rutherford cleaning a console, right? Like, that's the B plot of this episode. So I really like when they spend more time on the A plot. So that was nice.
Well, what's fun is that by the design of the episode, they have to spend more time on the A plot, because every second you spend on the B plot you know that weeks are passing
right
for the A team. So it's like, oh, I literally counted all of the seconds, and the amount of seconds that, and this would be a massive sin removal, the amount of seconds they spent on the A plot comes to almost exactly 1 year. Like they made sure that the amount of time we spent with Boimler and Rutherford wasn't ridiculous. So it's about 60 seconds in total that we have on the B plot. It's so well done. I really, really, really enjoyed that.
Chat points out that the B plot might have been more Mariner with the jail people.
Yeah, I guess that's the B plot. Mariner keeps getting thrown in jail.
In which case the episode is kind of split into like multiple B plots, because you also have the Tendi versus T'Lyn B plot. So it's a unique episode in that we get to see more time spent on the main mission, I think is the point.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to dive straight into Data. How did you feel? I know we talked about your scream, but how cool was it to see Data, albeit purple, and to hear Brent Spiner's beautifully soft Data voice?
I love Data.
It made me so happy. It made my heart just warm to hear Data's voice.
Yes, and also that's when the writers get to do fun things with the script, like how she says something like, "Can you help me with my studying?" When Tendi asks for help to study or whatever, and Data says, "As long as it doesn't require a torso, hands, legs, I don't see why not."
Yes,
just this sort of very calculated approach to conversation.
Very literal.
Yes. That with T'Lyn and really any Vulcan might be a little bit too much if we had to see it all the time, because there's just such a factual approach to how they communicate. But it was really welcome, in this. I don't understand how he's being powered, but I don't have to, because I'm not in the future.
Electricity and stuff. Just pumps and diodes and water pumps. That's how positronic things are. He seems as surprised as anyone else, to be honest.
Yeah, and he had a lot of meta sort of things to say, and he references a lot of adventures that he has had, which is interesting because if he's in a parallel world, he seems to have had a lot of RTNG experiences. There was a mention of a guy in a silver jumpsuit. I don't understand that reference, but maybe you do.
Yeah, so that's literally a reference to Time's Arrow, which is such, like, the synopsis for Time's Arrow is super complicated. They pick up a time disturbance and they go back to Earth because that's where the disturbance is, and they go into a cave and they find Data's head. But they know that this cave hasn't been opened for like 600 years, which puts it in like the 1800s for them. So all that they know is that at some point in the future, Data or his head gets thrown back in time and ends up in a cave. And that when they find the head, Data is there, Captain Picard is there, and I had to look this up, but there is an extra in a grey jumpsuit that is just doing science stuff in the background, but he's in the shot. So it's just a cool, like, random, like, who literally was in this scene, and Data's just going to list everybody that's in the scene from that episode. It's so fun. I love that so much. But yeah, it does suggest that some of their adventures are identical down to the amount of people that were present in the cave when they found Data's head.
Yeah, which is definitely something that could be sinned. But it was really fun, I think, to hear Data's approach to those kinds of things. And he references Geordi. He references that he was the first android to serve in his position, so he understands like what it feels like and what it means to be trying to do what Tendi is trying to do.
I loved that connection between them. How like she's the first Orion, he's the first android. Like that's not a connection I made until Data spelled it out. So it was really fun to see them connect over that point. That was really clever.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed it. I liked his character in this one. I like that the show sets it up for the big grape payoff at the end. That was a nice sort of bait and switch moment where Data being a purple head and having purple grapes allowed them to sort of subvert being caught.
Yep, I'm fine with that. That was a clever bit of like setup and payoff. I think that works really well.
And the other thing I really loved is when Mariner gets to hold Data and have her fan moment, because
can I hold Data's head?
Imagine Boimler if he had been there.
Oh, he's going to be so mad that he missed out on meeting Data, because Data, I believe, is dead right now. Like, Data got blown up, so they don't have Data around anymore.
Which they don't even reference.
They don't even mention like how they don't even mention that at all.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah.
And this definitely takes place after Nemesis, which is when Data dies.
Yeah.
For the first time, anyway.
Maybe they don't want to reference it because no one wants to. They don't want it to be true.
Yeah, no one. Yeah, they may just be collectively ignoring Nemesis happened.
But it's kind of, in a way, rare to see Mariner geek out. And so for her
do some
to
hero
say,
worship.
Yeah, for her to be like, you're a big deal. You're like, this is a big deal.
You're
and
kind
then
of famous.
Want to hold on to him and all that stuff. That was really
cool.
Yeah. So I enjoyed Data in this episode quite a lot.
There was one other reference he made was, this is not the first time that I've been just ahead before. And while that like is a reference to Time's Arrow, there's another time when he's just been ahead as well. And basically there's a disaster on the Enterprise. The episode is called Disaster. And bits of the crew are in different places. So you get these fun partnerships. And Riker and Data are one of these partnerships. And they're up in the Jeffries tubes and they're trying to escape. And at one point, Data's body gets completely paralyzed. So Riker just has to like remove his head and take it with him to engineering.
Oh my God.
It's so, because Riker's like, I can't get you to engineering. And he's like, well, fortunately for you, my cranium unit can be removed if needed. And he was like, are you telling me you want me to take your head off? And he's like, yes.
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 And the only way that Data can like, and yes.
Just like, it's another body part. It's just, it's a piece of machinery. Just take the battery out of the phaser. It's not a big deal. It's fine. What hit me the most was his voice. Just because sometimes like voices don't always translate well from like physical live action into animation. Sometimes you just, there's something like ineffable that doesn't always translate. But I immediately was like, oh, I feel so happy. Like that is Data's voice. And I think Brent Spiner is a great voice actor. And the comfort that I felt hearing Data's voice, it just made me want to go and watch some TNG. He is incredible. He's so great.
There's a warmth to his voice, even though he has a calculated cadence. Yeah. And how and obviously what he says is very computer.
And he's a robot, and it's a cold machine that is saying very logical things, but in such a warm cadence and such a friendly, like, this is what like home assistants are aspiring to sound like. And no one's done it as well as Data.
Yeah. I think we felt that too in how he was tending to Tendi, but then and how he talked about Geordi as well. You know, you can just kind of feel like, I got to get back to my friend. And Rainer was like, man, props. I get it. You know, and then they launch
my friend Geordi.
Yeah. So it's neat too that the writers are showing us the highlights of that relationship, knowing all these years later that Data and Geordi's friendship has been something that when TNG wrote it and kind of made that a theme, that it's still an important theme for the fan base today. If it wasn't, they wouldn't spend the time to do it. They would have focused on something else that came from TNG. So the word economy used in these kinds of shows tells you the most important parts of what the writers, and then also, of course, the franchise itself wants us to really focus on. Yeah. And so that they put that front and center for this character to deliver, and that it's the same relationship in the purple world is really cool, because I loved Geordi and Data, and it was always an interesting discovery of how, if I was to talk to a robot, what would I be trying to kind of help it to understand about the human experience, which is the robot's, potential mission. And that was part of what Data was really dedicated to doing, was trying to understand and almost emulate in his own way how to be human. And it's such an interesting thing to put on screen for people.
Yeah.
To try to find themselves in a robot is a really kind of a cool thing. And he has a childlike presence that's very smart and very powerful and dangerous at the same time. So, but to give him this innocent approach, Data is just one of the most fantastic characters I can remember watching on screen and one of my all-time favorites. And so to see him in today's episode was a delight, of course.
He's an incredible vessel for storytelling. Like, TNG put together such a deliberately intelligent bridge crew. You've got Worf, a Klingon, who obviously wasn't intended to be front and center, but quickly became that way when Tasha left. So you have the oldest,
who was mentioned this episode.
Yeah, a series of evil Tashas. That's amazing. You've got like the enemy from TOS is now on the bridge. You have Geordi, who's a blind man. You have Data, who is the Spock, but from a different angle. That's kind of not just, oh, we need another Spock on the bridge. It's such a cleverly put together bridge crew. I love
very,
it
very
so
brave.
much.
And chat has corrected me. It is not robot, it is android.
You all know. You know what we're talking about.
Though I do have to say, there's something that I had a conversation with Chat GPT out of sheer curiosity recently. And I think I have a respect for Android style conversations because of Data, because I was asking Chat GPT questions like, you're using this phrasing. Is that because you know that I'm human and I prefer phrasing like that? Like, you're making a choice to talk to me this way. And then ChatGPT is like, that's right. I'm using this algorithm to communicate with you. And I'm like, I feel like I'm just having a conversation with Data right now.
It's fascinating. It really is. Like, there is such a fine line between the algorithm and the intelligence. And I've mentioned this before on the show, but I have such a mental hill to jump over with Data and the holographic Doctor from Voyager, because am I talking to a person that is thinking for themselves, or is this just output based on my input? But then when you get down to that level, aren't we all just output based on input? Like, does the distinction even matter? So I always should I feel bad for the holographic Doctor, or is he just programmed to display these emotions? Because that's what his programming says.
Well, and is it the programming the same for both of them? And this is totally not about this episode today. Sorry, but is this because I thought that Data was more updating his own programming, his programming evolved. So did this Doctor's programming also evolve? Because that lives in the entire ship. That's like a ship program versus an individual program. And although Data might be able to connect to the greater network, he's sort of like on his own grid in my imagination.
He's his own computer system. So the big leap that they struggle to replicate with Data, and I love this so much, is his positronic brain. So the learning thing that has room to grow and to adapt, that's the thing that Dr. Sung made that people can't replicate. So that's what makes him such a great kind of artificial life form, because he can do that. With the Doctor, it's a program, right? It's a program, and there's an episode where he grows so much, and he's meant to learn, but in the medical field. So the more he operates, the better he gets at operating and coming up with new procedures. But there's a point where he gets to where the computer can't handle it anymore, and they're like, we don't have any, you can't learn anymore, we need to reset you. So there are limits to what his brain can do. That happens in an episode. It's fucking incredible. They have to go through this big debate about we either lose our Doctor, we lose the Doctor as we know him now, or we lose him for good.
This would be like
you've grown beyond the computer's capacity.
This would be like Google reaching out to me and saying, hey, you need to go through all of your pictures and videos that you have been putting up in the cloud for the last however many years. And instead of paying for more storage, you need to go through everyone and decide which ones you're purging.
Yeah. And they literally do that. They're just like, do you need these violin? Because they give him a lot of freedom. And they're like, do you need the collected works of Shakespeare? Do you need violin lessons? Do you need to know how to whistle? And he's like, okay, technically I don't need these things, but you're stripping away bits of my personality. And it's so fascinating.
That's wild, because he's not going to remember when it's over anyway, that it's gone.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like what we talked about before the show started with the show, where you've got like parts of your brain that will remember and parts of your brain that won't, and just trying to figure out which ones you're choosing to keep. Yep. But I feel like in that way, Data is different because he is his own thing and he is more quote unquote lifelike than a program. However, we have seen the show play around with programs becoming more like Moriarty, I think was an example of that.
Yeah, literally just through a sentence. And I'm like, if the holographic Doctor can be like this, why not any hologram? Like, why is it okay to deactivate any holographic program when you put so much moral emphasis on your holographic Doctor having freedoms, and yet you're using the holodeck every day?
Because that one serves people, okay? It keeps us alive.
Because we need this one. We need this one to be a Doctor. That's so interesting. He's holding us ransom.
Because we were just talking also about Westworld before the show, and it's just a whole thing that anytime I see Data, there's just this desire to dig more into that part. And what I love about Star Trek is that because we have so many episodes, there are a lot of these things that have been explored. It's not just potential to explore. Yes. They've already attempted and succeeded and or failed or whatever at going into these conversations. So even though it's just Data appearing in a silly episode of Lower Decks, there's a lot of emotion tied and attached to him appearing in this episode for me. So I think that's another reason why I really liked today's episode. Yeah,
I'm completely with you. The holographic Doctor thing is a great segue, actually, because A Blink of an Eye is really the episode that this episode is based on. Voyager stops their journey home because they find some sciencey thing, and it's a planet that has a different, it's like inverted, it has a different gravitational thing going on, and basically it's this effect. So like a second of time in orbit is a week down on the planet. So they've literally, it was either a week or a month, something like that, but it was a long period of time. So the only person they could send down there was the holographic Doctor with his mobile emitter thing.
Oh, is this the one where he becomes a god?
I don't know. He doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Wait, does he become? No, he doesn't become a god, but no, he doesn't become a god, but he does get a family. So he beams down. There's some kind of like feedback loop. There's something that goes wrong with the transporter. And instead of being down there for 6 seconds to do what he needs to do, he's down there for like a full minute. And he comes back and it's been like 30 years for him. And he's had a family, a kid, apparently. And just like shenanigans have happened. So yeah.
I don't understand how he has the ability to do that if he's a hologram.
I'm assuming he adopted a child. It can't physically have a child. It must be adopted. But yeah, anyway, by the time he beams up, that kid is long dead and he's just like ripped back up. So I love that idea of time moving at different points and just the immediate panic you feel when something goes wrong. And like Rutherford sums it up perfectly, as every, I think, Star Trek fan has thought when watching that episode, is you're having this conversation, and in the time it took you to have this conversation, a month has passed. Oh, in the time it took me to say that, another week has passed. Yeah. Even thinking about the solution is causing irreparable damage. Like, you have zero time, because every second you take is a week down there for them, and they know when they're on the planet, if they've missed that initial window, which was supposed to be a week or something, they're like, oh shit, if we've missed that week, who knows how long we're going to be down here? Because anything that goes wrong up there, even if it takes an hour, means the rest of our lives are down here. And that's insane.
It really is. And it's a fun part to think about for the show. And I do have some questions. The place where they are on the planet, is this something that you are familiar with? Is it also a reference like the crater or the abandoned house or the village or the creatures, the Andorians?
No, they weren't Andorians. I can't remember what they're called, but they have like horns. But I didn't recognize the planet, the aliens, the crater. Yeah, I think the crater was Data's shuttle that crashed into the planet.
I understood that, but I thought, is this all kind of a reference? Because they said when they were in orbit, Captain Freeman looked over and said, oh, well, before we take care of the rift, well, looks like we got to go to the purple planet because something was left behind. So I didn't know if that was part of a reference to
I don't think
something else.
It wasn't,
because I kind of thought maybe sort of like an episode 1, season 1 of Lower Decks. I think it starts off with the premise that they're going right after first contact to clean up a mess.
Yeah, usually.
And the idea that it's going in after an episode that we've seen of Star Trek, and then Lower Decks is kind of showing the opposite, like, here's what happened behind the scenes. So I didn't know if that was happening in this episode where they had left something behind and So
no, they're trying to heal. So I think an A team has helped the Enterprise D get back to where they're supposed to be, and then the Cerritos is sent in to close the rift because they're annoyed that they missed the Enterprise D. So they're closing the rift, and as they're closing it, they realize, oh, there's a Federation signature on this planet that everyone else has missed. We have to go and deal with that.
Yes. Cool. I didn't know if that was a reference, but that was fun to watch.
I don't think so.
It's fun to watch what the civilizations look like, you know, with even Dr. Ta'ana.
Yeah.
Being like, y'all are going to smell like shit.
I'm like that. This is beneath me. Like, I'm a doctor, not whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah, I send that. We'll get to that, I guess, if I can remember. But they go down to this planet, and then they have all of the words for money or whatever. And there's one guy that's super suspicious of them and is right, of course, the whole time.
There is in Time's Arrow. There is in Carbon Creek. There is in Blink of an Eye. There's always some local that is somehow tapped into the idea that you're from the future. I fucking know it. You guys are fucking aliens.
Yeah, you don't even have
somehow
money.
They just know.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And so they end up taking over this abandoned house and turning into agriculture, and then like entrepreneurial geniuses.
I love that.
In conjunction with finding Data's head and figuring out how to turn it on, because they have enough time to do that. And I did like that. And of course, Mariner is trying to figure out how to live a lifetime since she has the option to, and then becomes a criminal instead.
Well, that's the other episode name check, is the inner light. And we've mentioned this a few times. This is when Picard lives an entire life inside of a probe and gets his flute at the end of it. And she's like, I want this to be my inner light. This is going to be my probe life, which doesn't make sense because time is still passing for her, whereas it didn't for Captain Picard. Like, she's still aging. So she's not going to have an entire life here and then get to repeat her life on the Cerritos. If she's an old lady on the planet, she's an old lady when the Cerritos picks her up. But I did love that this is the perfect opportunity to put her in jail and actually like make her pay for the consequence. Because basically the entire year that she's on the planet, she's in jail because she fucks up, which is just genius. It's so funny.
Yeah, she's in there for like months at a time.
Yeah.
Because she does, she assaults someone. She turns off a sacred flame, and I don't remember what else she did. I think that was the main two things that she did.
She poked a guy in the eye and then, extinguished the sacred flame, and that put her in jail for basically the duration. I'm kind of amazed that Tendi and T'Lyn don't try and break her out at some point.
They all seem to be completely content to live individual experiences.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me.
Super chill to just be, that's where they're going to live.
And likely very, very sinful if you think about it.
Very sinful. We will definitely be getting to that. The heart of the episode is Tendi and T'Lyn competing for the promotion to be senior science officer, although T'Lyn doesn't realise that she's competing. Did you like the heart of this episode? Each episode has kind of had a emotional theme that they're trying to get through. How did this one hit you, or was it a bit skippable?
I think because I'm so tired of their communication disorder, it angers me. And I do know people in my real life who will avoid emotional conversations or conversations that may make them feel like they're struggling. So, and like, for example, in this episode, you have Tendi, who is wanting a promotion. She wants to be the one who deserves the promotion. And then she gets very competitive and isolates herself and goes a little and gets stupid. Mm-hmm. And I guess I can look back on my personal experiences with the humans around me and go, yeah, I think maybe I've met some people that don't want to admit when they're in over their head or get competitive and isolate because they're wanting to beat somebody. So like maybe I've seen that, but for some reason I hold these characters in this different space where I don't give them the same excuses that I would give my human friends around me or whatever, which is like, get your shit together and just say something. This is somebody that's like, T'Lyn is your friend, but I think Tendi has been shown to be this sort of manic in other episodes, and she's finally back on the Cerritos and she's trying to make sure that her dreams come true and that she becomes the person that she wants to become. But she's always also portrayed as someone who's just happy to be there and she's having a good time and she's wanting to represent her race really well. And she's still hard on herself, but usually not to the point of, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Has she been willing to sacrifice friendships like this before too? I don't know. I didn't like it.
I don't know that she's sacrificing a friendship more than I think the message is that she's unhealthily comparing herself to T'Lyn without realizing that T'Lyn also has her downsides. Like when you're like competing, you kind of see all of the things in your competitor that you wish you could be. And like a personality like Tendi is like, I'm not going to get it because I'm not good enough. Here's why this person is better. So she's trying to match that by not sleeping, coming up with a better experiment, doing something more impressive. So I think her own worst enemy is herself because she's not, in her head, as good as T'Lyn.
And I get that. But there's this tipping point for me when she suddenly says, of course, I can't sleep anymore. I have to push myself even harder. And maybe that's the warrior part of her. I don't know, but I hated it. I hated that part so much because again, it's just, if you just talk to each other, then it's all solved. Mm-hmm. And maybe communication comes easy for some people. For me, I love communication. Sometimes it's really difficult to do that. Sometimes it's hard to say what you really feel because you know it's going to hurt somebody or whatever. And there's reasons that you don't want to be honest and open and you want to be like closed off and have some solitude. And sometimes it's healthy to have space like that. But in this situation, you're just watching from the outside going, okay, where they're just going to be, it's clear T'Lyn has no idea that they're in a competition. How is that not clear to Tendi?
Yeah, the difference is here, we're not really given a reason for why Tendi isn't communicating and why she isn't talking. And Link in the live chat has made a point that I completely agree with. This feels a bit jarring because we do hold Starfleet to a higher standard. The point is like, in this utopia, we think that we've kind of evolved past this kind of stuff, and it's still important to explore that part of the human equation, but it's a little bit jarring when we're like, in Starfleet, we assume that you communicate and you talk and that it is the best person for the job and kind of like a little bit more objective about it. And Tendi kind of gets there because she is like, well, T'Lyn should should get the job because she is better than me. But it's frustrating because she's missing some like crucial bits of the puzzle that we think maybe she should have. So yeah, I agree. It was a little bit frustrating for me as well. It's hard when so many episodes have just been, hey, communicate. Like that solves so many of the issues of these episodes.
All they had to do was have Freeman say something like, I'd love to see you both do a research project so that I can see how you both approach your work. Then everything else makes sense. Because Freeman would have been asking for some kind of evidence or proof of an experiment, and then they just so happen to go to this planet, and then because they're at this planet, they have this time. They're like, okay, well, I guess we'll just do our stuff, and then there's just like this competitive, competitive nature to use this free time essentially to do a really incredible research project. And I can maybe believe that she'd get like a little bit, batshit about it. But
then I would sin Freeman for putting the position just on one science experiment. It should be like a collective.
I'm not saying it's to put it on one. I'm saying to just have more information. Like, how do you approach? Just to give me more information so that I can make this job.
Yeah,
just,
I guess that would make the episode make a bit more sense. Yeah,
at least it would be like, oh, I now understand the competitive part. But instead, it's like, oh, Tendy's delusional.
Yeah, it seems like it. And that's frustrating, isn't it? It's hard to root for her.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Especially because she just left this huge world where if she was being this kind of competitive and delusional, she had like an entire world that was at her fingertips. And so it just doesn't seem like it would be wise for her to just believe so much of her own head that she wouldn't stop and check in. And it also is, it's hard to believe that anybody wouldn't be checking in more. But I guess if Tendy's kind of like holding herself up in a attic somewhere, maybe it's not as easy for Mariner or T'Lyn to kind of, get through. But the other thing, besides potentially like, Captain Freeman giving them a reason or whatever, the other thing that bothers me is that the switch over from zero communication and entire competitiveness to, I'm so sorry, I was in the wrong the whole time. The switch over is now they've been captured. Now they're being held captive, and that's it. Like, that's the big thing that stops her is, we might be breaking the prime directive. I guess now is a good time to reflect on my behavior.
There's and again, because they've only got 20 minutes to do it. So when you tackle something like that, it's so easy to go the quick resolution in the last 20 seconds thing. And it's a bit tiring when that desperation gets resolved so quickly at the end of every episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I share your frustration with that.
So to answer your question, it didn't work for me and it was frustrating for me, but they got to do what they got to do. They split everybody up. They split up the party. And every time we get back over to T'Lyn, it was fun to see her success. I enjoyed that part of it.
So there's a world where like you have them rooting for each other and working together. And I know conflict is fun, but it's got to be done in a way that feels right. And the more I think about it, the more the Tendi desperation wasn't really fun to watch. The thing that really saves it is Data being there as counsel that she's ignoring, but still he's there trying to talk sense to her. Yeah. And the only thing that actually saves in this episode is T'Lyn's ability to buy Mariner out of jail. It wasn't even Data rich. Yeah, because Data's like, "What are you doing? You need to sleep." And Tendy's not listening until they are conveniently left alone in the attic by the Mr. Snoops. Yeah, and he goes off to get the mob and come back. Had he not done that, the whole thing ends and shifts differently. Like, what a convenient thing that he's like, I'm going to leave you up in this attic, be right back, instead of, I don't know, maybe it seems like he just wanted everybody to believe him, but just take the head and go. There's so many different ways that could have ended more logically, but the only reason that we have a solution is because T'Lyn was able to take her wealth and go buy Mariner out of jail. Yay, capitalism. So, I really like the T'Lyn stuff. I keep thinking about that being something I really, really enjoyed, like the whole agriculture part, and this empire that she was building of hair product. And think about the collapse afterwards. How I have wealthy. I have so many sins about the entire T'Lyn logic of this episode. But again, the voice work for T'Lyn is so fun. She's such a great Vulcan. So what I really love is that T'Lyn was in this episode being a foil for Tendi. I just didn't enjoy Tendi's side of it. I think that's where we're at. Anything else before we move into some sins? I don't think so. Let me go back through.
Let's see. I don't think. Sorry, everybody. I don't think I have anything else. Did you like Tylen's algorithmic tossing?
Oh my gosh, that made me laugh so much. I didn't realize you could juggle. Neither did I until I started.
It's just great. Algorithmic tossing.
It's so true. It's so true. Like, of the things to like instinctually be able to do, it makes sense that a Vulcan would just be good at juggling. Because this muscle does that and there's a pattern to it. That's so funny.
Did you like the flute playing at the end, the soap flute?
The soap flute. You cannot play that. I love how matter of fact Lynn is. You cannot play that instrument. Yes, I can.
Yeah, just the idea that it's like a prison soap flute.
I just think that would be like disgusting on the lips. I don't want to put prison soap in my mouth.
No.
That's the biggest sin of the episode, I think.
It reminds me of watching those like little brief documentaries about hotel soaps and how they recycle the hotel soaps into new soaps.
I don't believe it.
Okay.
I don't believe that they do that, Danae.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I will not send you the video.
I do not believe that they recycle the soap.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Mm-hmm. There were 2 lines that I really, really liked. When Mariner's annoyed that she hasn't seen the purple Enterprise D. I wonder if the carpets match the bulkhead.
Yeah. That was a lot.
So funny.
That was a lot.
That was so great. I can't believe you just sexualized the Enterprise D like that. That was amazing. Which is interesting because the Enterprise D did have purple carpet. So it's not just a joke for the sake of being rude. She's also just asking, hey, I wonder if they kept the purple carpet. I wonder if they did that.
Yeah.
Completely innocent.
Completely innocent. Just like the melons and the size of the melons.
Yep. The other line that was, again, completely innocent was when Data is chomping through the rope.
With Worf's reference?
Well, Worf's reference was amazing that I
saw Worf do this once.
And I can imagine Worf doing that. But the line is from Tendi, who says, oh, you really are fully functional. And that's a reference to Tasha, who asks Data, I've heard that you're fully functional. And he says, I am fully functional in multiple techniques, vast variety of pleasuring.
Yes.
Yes.
He can tie a cherry stem in his mouth easily.
Yep. Tendi is impressed. And after a year, I think there's more than one time that Data's head has been turned off while Tendi was turned on. Anything else?
Nope.
Ambassador?
Nope.
Oh, golly. With that, Pips.
Oh.
You thought I forgot. So did I.
I think I give it 3.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 3.5. I love this episode. You could skip the Tendi bits, but I really, really enjoyed it. 3.5 Pips for me. Time travel. I'm a sucker for time travel and Data. With that, it's time to head to engineering to do some sinning. Do to beam out. Red alert, everyone.
Red alarm.
12 Pips. Red alarm. This is the part of the show where we re-engage our sin brains, remind ourselves that no TV shows without sin, even our beloved Star Trek. You said you had quite a few this week. Go for it, Ambassador.
Well, I'm comparing myself to the past, so
it's fair.
I'm going to start with, I did not like that the doctor, T'Ana, said that she didn't go to Starfleet Medical for this. I call bullshit. There are so many times that Starfleet has to be able to change and alter their appearance to do various things. Yeah. And so there's absolutely no way that there's not a specific course for the medical wing of things, or at least some sort of continuing education thing that you do, like where you learn a new realm.
When you find a new species, you've got to learn how to, like, it's part of the job. It might not be her favorite bit, but like, you knew going into Starfleet, you're going to do a lot of these shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. So some people like become surgeons, and some people, go into these different specialties. In Starfleet, obviously, you're going to go to triage and learn about how to address all of the things that can happen on a spaceship with warp cores doing things and steam leaks and all the stuff that's going to happen on a ship. But then you also have to serve the people, like looking up into diseases that you can find or parasites that you can come across. And one of the things that always happens is that you have to change your appearance. So I absolutely do not believe that that would be something that she didn't sign up for.
I think you literally, the fact that you signed up for Starfleet means that you did by definition sign up for that. So yeah. Completely agree. I'm going to jump straight into a very specific one. I don't think that Mariner should know the Carbon Creek reference that she mentions.
Oh, shit.
She says about she's going to like find somebody or someone. Oh, no, she may be talking about there's always like somebody creepy that's sniffing around. It's like got Carbon Creek vibes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Carbon Creek was from Enterprise, the one of the few series that we haven't watched yet any episodes from. And T'Pol, who is a Vulcan science officer, is told to share a story. And she shares a story of her, I think, great-grandmother or grandmother, who visited Earth after her shuttle crashed with someone else. They landed in Carbon Creek, had to live out a good chunk of their, like, I think it was like a few years or something that they had to stay there before they were rescued. And she, to make money, showed them Velcro. And so the invention of Velcro is put down to Vulcans. However, it's a secret. And Captain Archer is like, I don't believe you. Eventually they believe her, but it's a super duper secret. That doesn't like get entered into the history books. That's a story that's told around the dinner table that they're still kind of like, it ends on a bit of a question mark about whether T'Pol was making it up or not from the viewpoint of the captain and the commander. They're both like, I don't know if we completely believe you. So I don't know. Again, it's one of these, Mariner says an episode title, then I'm like, would you know that? Would you know this happened, considering we don't know that it happened?
That's great. I would have never been able to send that because I don't know what you're talking about.
I love that. I don't know. It's interesting.
Instead, my next sin is just go use another zip around transporter room. Just go elsewhere. Split the party. Okay, one person stay and try to ungoop your console. The other person run to the next console. Go quickly. There are other places that you can beam people, right? Like there's not just one for the entire fucking ship. Am I wrong about that?
I mean, there must be one transporter room on the Cerritos. That is the only explanation. There is no knowing what's at stake. You have to just say, yeah, transporter room 2. We need you to beam them up or send the signal. Like, you should have like redundancies because this happened obviously in Voyager. Even if you don't spill a tequila or whatever it is over the panel, if there's a random like malfunction that happens, have another transporter room on standby so that they're not stuck down there for a year. Like, it just must be canon that there's only one transporter room on the Cerritos. That's crazy.
It is crazy. I don't understand how to, like, I can't comprehend it, but okay.
It's so, like, it makes me, like, think bad things about Boimler and Rutherford. Because it's just like, how little do you value your friends if you would rather cover your own backs, clean this up, and then beam them back, rather than call another transporter room? It's crazy. Completely agree.
It's crazy.
I couldn't get past how distracting it was that Mariner looked like a Simpson. With yellow skin and blue hair. She looked like Lisa or Marge. I guess it's Marge, really. Maggie doesn't have blue hair. But I got massive Simpson vibes and I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah.
Crossed over the Simpsons. What's going on here?
I don't believe for one second that Mariner would be extinguishing the eternal flame. It was very evident it wasn't just a fire. And
yeah,
in this episode, they really like just decided to revert Mariner back to Chaos Beast.
Yeah.
And if her storyline for this time dilation world where every 1 second is a week and she is just fully giving into that and just throwing care to the wind, and she like, maybe I can believe that she'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go full chaos here. But that wasn't what she said. Like, her goal was to start a family and like become a member of society.
Yeah.
And so I just don't like, if she had said, I'm going to cause chaos and I'm going to be a chaos beast and I'm going to do all this kind of shit. Like, that was what, sure, that is what a chaos beast would do, is go run over to the very clear fire in a very clear forge area that is very clearly, it wasn't a fire on the street.
That was an established fire. That was not a random blaze that had got out of hand.
No, it was very, very clearly a designated fire area. It was a fire pit. There was nothing there.
Yes.
Anyway, it really bothered me because it kind of, it made me go, oh, that's just Mariner. But this season is trying to say, oh, that's not Mariner anymore. So they want to have it both ways, to have the silly line about extinguishing the eternal flame and who believes in dark spirits anyway. That they did it for that line, you know?
Well, as soon as she said, oh, there's a fire, I was like, oh, the punchline is that she's back in jail. Smash cut to a door being closed. So when you can see the punchline that far ahead, you know that it's all set up and no sausage.
Yeah.
My next one, Tendi would be excellent at CinemaSins, because Tendi mentions that, like, shouldn't we just turn around, because any debris that's been down here, by the time we were beamed down, has been here for years. So if they're going to find it, and I get that they still have to go and get it, but they're kind of right. Like, it's been years from them scanning it to getting there, getting like the makeup put on them. Like, you've got to have a different set of protocols in place, because I don't think they were prepared to deal with what happened had they already found the technology. They're very lucky that nobody found this crater with Data's head and everything like that, considering how much time will have passed between the crash. Because the crash has happened ages ago, because they're only just scanning. They didn't scan the crash. They scanned what was left over. So the shuttle has been down there for maybe decades. So it's kind of wild that they did just send 3 people down to deal with this, considering how lucky they have to be that it hasn't been found yet. Yeah.
When they're leaving the house, how was Data powered underneath the cloak?
Yeah. I wondered that as well, and I'm guessing he has an internal power source that can be charged up. That ran out of charge. I don't, because his head does work on its own, because like we said in the episode, Riker takes his head. So I think it has a limited power source that Tendi was able to charge up.
She did say something like, now I won't have to put the crank on. But that doesn't explain how he can now be powered freely, but they didn't really explain that, so I'm going to send it.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. My biggest one of the episode is the Prime Directive once again. And this is as misunderstood as the butterfly effect. People assume that if you go back in time and avoid the butterflies, you won't affect the timeline. You being there, disrupting the wind that you're currently inhaling, stepping on the blade of grass is affecting that's already happened. When T'Lyn is just like, all I did was make a beauty product and I became rich, therefore I'm not disturbing the Prime Directive. You're destabilizing an economy by repositioning funds that would have gone somewhere else but are now in your pocket and have now been put into the prison system to free Mariner. It is underestimating how much damage beauty products does. You created an entire industry that you said didn't exist because you're like, now they feel good about themselves, not realizing the harm that beauty products do and probably don't make you feel good about yourself. Could be argued. And she's opened a shop. You have violated the Prime Directive by not hiding in a tree or like dying immediately.
Right.
Like, any way that you contribute, anyone that you talk to, like, how do you know that they would have found a lotion for skincare ever? Like, just because it isn't, this is technology. This is still technology. Mm-hmm. However you want to pitch it. All right, it's not medicine. It's not alcohol. It's crazy, like, how she doesn't realize that this is a massive violation of the Prime Directive.
I want to go back to this world in a future episode of something, and then like there was this massive mystery that they have to solve because everything imploded. All of the huge foods and vegetables that she was using to feed people gone.
Everyone became obese, or there was a big famine. One of the two.
There is a war because there's only so many bottles remaining of the special product.
Yes.
And so it has become this like coveted material that people will kill over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting.
I mean, when you create an entire industry around beauty products, that's how you get invaded by Kardashians.
I feel like sometimes your great jokes just
Let's
don't.
go!
Like I have to believe in this moment that out there in the world, when someone listens to this podcast episode, they're like, I see what you did there,
Yay!
Captain. Because I'm just like, oh,
Let's go! Yes! Yes!
Oh my gosh. Well, and the fact that you're like celebrating it yourself so much tells me that I'm missing out on something. So
Kardashian, you know, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the TV show.
Okay, yeah.
And then Kardashians. It sounds similar.
It wasn't even a Star Trek reference?
No, it was because Kardashians sounds like Kardashians.
Okay.
So you get invaded by Kardashians, and Kardashians invade Bajor for natural resources, and the Kardashians would invade to take over the beauty products. It's so good. It's such a great joke for the 10 people that both know the Kardashians and the Kardashians.
Do we only have 10 people that listen to our podcast?
No, I mean the crossover, the Venn diagram of people that will appreciate both things.
Oh, I see.
Sin is on me. This would be absolutely, I'm getting sinned for this. Yeah, beauty products break the Prime Directive. Anything else, Ambassador?
No, I don't think so.
My last one wasn't huge, but it was, they don't have a lot of time to get away before getting beamed up. And instead of like finding a cupboard to hide in, they try to hike up a wide open mountain with sight lines. You know where you don't want to be when you're trying to hide? High ground. Like, you have so many sight lines. Like, people can just see, you can see that fucking tree from the center of town. Like, you're hide in a hole. You want to go down. You want to hide in a basement somewhere. You don't need to go to a peak to hide and get beamed out. That was just bad transporting 101.
There you go.
Amazing. Ambassador, anything else before we wrap up?
I think the chat had some good ones, so I will do a rapid fire sins in the outtakes.
Oh, I did have one that I didn't mention the food in the transporter room because they sin it themselves so much. It's still a sin that they do it regardless, but they mention that rule so many times because they know this really shouldn't have happened. Like this accident should never have been a thing. But
well, I mean, there should never be a console that can't have anything on it. Like those consoles should be made out of materials that cannot be just like so easily fucked up from anything.
Well, I always assumed they were.
That's one of the most important parts of what you do. So to build a console that can fuck up that terribly because you spilled a little juice on it, that's another sin for me. Is just like that's so stupid. Yeah,
it was a lot. I assumed the LCAR's displays were very, very waterproof. I mean, it just looks like a sheet of glass. Like that shouldn't be. That should not have been an issue. Completely agree. Well, next week, the episode that we will be covering is Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 5, Episode 8. And this one, Danae, is called Upper Decks. Any predictions? I have two.
Oh, okay. Okay. 2 predictions, go.
My first one is that this will be just following the A-Team. This will be a completely Freeman, Ransom, Shax. Yeah, A-Team. This is going to be as if it was an episode of TNG. Just completely normal.
Okay.
My second prediction is that it's going to bring all of the characters back from the TNG episode Lower Decks now that they've been promoted, because this is like 15 years after that episode. So where are the lower deckers from that episode now? One of them's dead, but where are the ones that are still alive?
Interesting. Okay.
That's my 2 predictions.
I predict I will be bored watching this episode.
Interesting. You don't have high hopes for this one.
Well,
based on the title.
I just want to see my people.
You might still. That might just be, I may be way off with that one.
I just thought of another sin.
Do it.
How has no one got Boimler like in trouble about this pad that he has?
Yeah, they haven't reported it, have they?
It's like a bright red. I mean, that was part of the joke is, oh, it's too wide. Oh, it's beveled. And he's like, it's red. And so there's so many people that should see that he is doing something that isn't okay. How has no one...
Yeah.
Like
Freeman should be putting some pieces together. Just poor management once again.
Like if he was hiding it's one thing. It's like his whoopee. It's constantly with him. Whoopee. I love the idea of him finding this playbook of how to become this version of himself and how it's like last episode, you know, how it was just really messing with him. I loved how that played into that. But I'm saying last episode during this episode, I just realized because I watched them both really close together.
That's fair. We didn't get your sins last week. So
no. I guess it was kind of in this episode because that's why they were having that drink. Because they were both looking at that pad. Yeah.
Tendi mentioned it. Mariner was annoyed about it all. Yeah,
and
stealing someone
Rutherford's
else's
in on
vibe.
It. Yeah.
They should all get into trouble for this pad, for sure. I agree.
Should. Okay.
That's got to be violating some kind of directives.
So many violations.
Well, with that, if you would like to get in touch with us and send us any emails, questions, anything you like, send us a message, captainspod@cinemasins.com. Join our lovely Discord, discord.gg/cinemasins, and join the Captain's Pod channel where we have spoiler chats, episode chats, and then any updates about the live show. If you want to join us on the live show, we post in Discord, and you can see when it's scheduled on the CSPN channel on the YouTube live section. I think is there anything else to plug, Ambassador? Join the Sin Club on Patreon and you get the episodes a day early.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you get that.
Plus other fun CinemaSins things. Like if you've ever wanted to hear Jeremy's bloopers from the content on YouTube, you can find that stuff there. Yeah.
He often swears at the writers that make him say long words that are invented. So yeah, more swearing from Jeremy. Until next week, I'm Captain Ian, and I don't need sleep. I need science.
Oh, and I am fresh out of globbers.
Live long and prosper. Woo! We did it. My contact lens is bugging out. So if you saw me blinking a lot that episode, it's because I'm on the last day of my contact lenses and I should have just binned them.
Why would he get in trouble? What rules? I don't know, Phil. I mean, it's a good question. I just assumed that maybe contraband from another dimension is contraband. Yeah. And like you shouldn't have it.
I don't know specifically what it's violating. It's a good point, but I feel like it's violating something. Like,
we didn't forget, Link. Someone didn't do what they were supposed to do. And they will suffer for it. Just kidding.
Yes. They will suffer for it. Mm-hmm. It did go up a day late.
They could bring the skeleton of the dead one. Here, this is you were looking to the future. I like that prediction, Phil. That we'll look into the future. That'd be so cool.
Oh, it's a time jump.
Yeah.
Because that's a cliche thing to do in the last episode is to do a time jump so that you see where everybody ended up. So it's better to do it in episode 7, 8. Yes. Okay,
I'm going to go through some sins. Sin, yes, I chuckled at the Rutherford and Tendi don't notice the pad is red jokes. It's still a sin that highly trained scientists didn't notice the pad was red. Okay, I apparently just sinned that one, Flyboy. I didn't even notice that you did that one. So cool. Same lines I loved. Why don't you go shove yourself in a circumscribed cylinder?
Oh, wait, hang on a minute. These are still starred from last week.
Well,
somehow.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember that line.
That's weird. You have different starred ones than I have.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah, you have last week's episodes. I have this week. So
Mariner can override the door?
Yeah, that's last week.
Wow. Guys, these are good. These are great sins.
Great sins.
She can override the door because she has a code, okay? Oh, little. Did they have little track figures in their quarters? Oh, I missed it.
That was last week. Okay. Yeah.
Sin, Boimler obsessing over the pad being red, indicating it's from an alt universe when we've seen red pads before.
Yeah.
Also from last week.
Yeah. Geordie would often have
Reminder about next week's episode. Great job, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Moopsie versus Lifeform from Starbase 80 episode.
Now we're in this week's ones.
Okay.
This is amazing.
Oh my God.
Moopsie wins that one.
50 extra sins. Third episode this season of the sitcom for Just Talk to Each Other. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, where are the little... Okay. Sin from Link, what happened to all of the notes and experiments that Tendi and T'Lyn made when they were on the planet? They're left behind to be found.
Yeah, great point. I don't remember them shredding them because they kind of left in a hurry, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Let's see. Sin, hand phasers vaporizing shuttle pieces.
Why is that a sin?
Because I don't know. This is just a sin.
We've seen hand phasers vaporize people.
This was a point about the transporter. Sci-fi says maybe that one particular transporter was configured specifically for the beacon or to compensate for the time dilation. So it would take them too long to do that in another transporter room.
But this is what I'm saying. You have two ready to go because this exact problem has already happened. So you program more than one transporter to be able to do this job. Because Voyager, you're repeating the same mistakes as Voyager. What I hope is that when this stuff happens on another ship, at the very least, you make a rule so that ridiculousness doesn't happen again.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I recommend one person going to the next transporter room so that the one person could stay behind and try to clean off the simple button that needed to be fixed.
Exactly.
And then what dictated how long to wait after transmitting the signal to the necklace to then beam them up? Yep.
Well, no, it was like immediate because 1 second
but it wasn't
is like
immediate.
What do you mean?
Down there on the world, I think.
It was for Boimler. It was press the button and then energize because
it would have taken a second, which is a week.
If you let half a second pass, that's 3 days.
So they get the signal, then they have a week.
Less than that, I think they have like a day because it's like beep, beam up. Like he doesn't even wait a second before beaming them up. It's like you have a few hours to get somewhere safe.
Yeah, that's still a little bit nebulous. I think they should do that and then a week. But because how else are you going to be sure? Like,
but what time of day in the week? What on that day? What time of day is it?
To your point, go to a
for
cave
an entire week.
No, for at least the last day.
Yeah, just live in a cave for a day. Yeah,
I mean, you're right. Maybe it was less than a week of time that had passed, but the whole point is like, how do you take a week and fraction it down into the seconds to make it a day?
Well, do you know what's great? Computers are very good at doing that. So it should be auto. Yes. It should be press the button
and then the
computer exactly beams up. Because computers are great at doing that. It's kind of why we have them.
Yeah. I think that's everything that I saved for later.
Oh shit! I had someone in the live chat.
Me as I drink my tea over my MacBook. Listen, I get it. I have a little coffee right here.
Wondering had a good follow-up. Shuttles are built to withstand weapons fire. That's true.
So what we're saying is that...
Well, no, because a phaser beam, it can still withstand a phaser beam, just not many of them. So if it can withstand a ship's phaser, a hand phaser, it's interesting that a hand phaser can then vaporize a shuttle. So yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Well, there we are. We have seen the episode, and now we will return to our normal scheduling next week. You guys have a great Saturday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for being here. We can hang out for a couple more minutes if there's any questions you want to throw into the chat super, super fast.
Yeah.
But otherwise... But otherwise, we will be hanging out with you guys next week. And I hope that you guys had a great holiday. if you celebrated Thanksgiving. I hope it was wonderful. You have an insane prediction for next week? Well, go on.
Do it. Do it.
No plans for game streaming. We had really tried to build the time frame to do that, but Link, we write so much content. We cannot squeeze any more time out of our week, unfortunately.
To do it regularly, that's the key. Like, we could do like a one-off thing, but we really want to like do it regularly. And it's so, yeah. We could carve out once a month at the minute, maybe. And even that's like a question mark.
Nope, we really can't. Nope, we really can't. It's the pro and the con of having a lot of like super creative people that can do a lot of things, and we want to do those things. But if we're not creating the videos, then we got troubles. So we got to, make the top priority. And unfortunately, gaming has gone to the side for that, especially because, it's not like there's hundreds of people that jump on a live chat for when we do go live. It's just more like the fun in our lives. And so when I game for myself, I'm not always in like entertainment mode. But many times Ian and I have been like, hey, let's play Baldur's Gate. And we should be streaming this. And then we're like, no, it's fine. And then we go ahead and we play, and the stupidest shit happens. And it would have been awesome if we would have been streaming.
Yesterday would have been a great one to
yesterday would have been
stream.
awesome.
Yesterday
things went crazy. Happened. Can we tell you about that?
We went off the rails. Yeah.
Without it sounding like we're trying to describe a dream. So we're just now getting to Baldur's Gate. We're not quite into the city yet. We're in that Rivington or whatever. Well, it's right outside if anyone plays this. And so it's like all of these refugees are in the city, and then there's a guard that's kind of going around the city, and you're going around, you're picking up quests or whatever. Well, we get to this one particular thing, and we had acquired early in the game this dog named Scratch. And he's been part of our little camp, and he became someone's familiar, and so can be summoned. And we get to the place where Scratch originated in the game, and we're like, oh my God, we found Scratch's like OG home, only to discover that a horrible bitch is the one who is training the dogs, and she's like really, really aggressive. This is at the very end of our gameplay.
Yeah. End of the session.
We're already tired. We're done. And we're both real mad at this woman.
Yeah.
And so knowing, and this is judge, if you will, knowing that we were not going to be playing this game, like we're not going to be actively like, this is not our real game. We're going to reload the save point. We just decide to just go off on this lady and kill her.
Well, I tried to be inventive. I tried to put her to sleep first.
We tried. We kind of did. Okay, yeah, we put her to sleep. Then we released the dogs, and we're like, well, let's just try it. So we reload it.
Wait, our logic was to release the dogs.
We released the dogs
without killing her.
To try to avoid hurting her, harming her, charming her, putting her to sleep. But the dogs kill her.
Immediately attack her as soon as they're unleashed, which in hindsight makes complete sense.
So we decide, okay, reload. We can't do that. So we're like, we'll give it one more try. And it kicks off a battle with her. Mm-hmm. And we decide, since it's a temporarily hostile situation, we were just going to remove ourselves by, instead of fighting her, just wandering away.
We'll just leave. Yeah.
But it turns out that when you do that, like every NPC she comes into contact with that's like a guard then also turns against you.
Well, I think the problem was actually my character.
Yeah, tell him what you did.
Well, my character has the most speed, so I can like travel a long distance. I just picked a direction and went, and the direction that I picked was behind this giant Terminator steel robot automaton machine, and I just went past it without realizing it was guarding something. So when I crossed the threshold into what it was guarding, it turned all of the guards on the map against us. I think that's what I think we could have got away with it had I not fleed into a restricted zone, and then that kicked off the entire map.
So he kicked off a battle.
Yeah.
And then as the NPC was crossing people, they were turning because I watched it happen.
Right.
It was bad, but we decided to ride it out and just say, okay, so what if this did happen? Knowing we were not going to actually
if we can
keep
survive
Let's just see how long can we survive. And we did some pretty fun stuff. One of the biggest, coolest things that would have been awesome to have live was what you did, Ian. Tell them what you did.
Yeah, I've just learned telekinesis. And this was a Hail Mary, because telekinesis is a strength saving throw. And this automaton machine thing has
huge.
It's huge. It has an 18 for strength, which means it rolls its d20 and it can add 4. So it didn't have to roll very high at all, but it failed. It rolled like less than 5, which means I got to pick it up and throw it.
Chuck it.
So I picked it up and I threw it down a hill, and it took off half of its health.
It had 200 HP.
I Team Rocket threw it into the distance.
We were like, ah!
It worked! That shouldn't have worked, but it absolutely did.
It was like the glimmer of light coming through the clouds when you know that there's so much more storm, but this was like the one like little, it was like the juicy part of the thing. Anyways, there are times when we play this game and we have thought about streaming and sharing that with you, but it is very random times. It's often like last second, and it's never really felt like, oh, we should go live. But we have talked about other options, like possibly just going live on Discord sometimes and not going live on Twitch on the CinemaSins channel. So we will tell you, we will give you a heads up, and that'll always be in Discord, since that's like the easiest place for us to share up to the minute information. So just watch Discord, but unfortunately there's nothing like planned. It would all be super, super random.
If we streamed it, it would change how I play a little bit.
Oh,
I would take bigger swings. Like I would like that. There was a 25% chance of that working on the automaton on the big skeleton thing. If I knew we weren't like saving the game and just resetting it, I wouldn't have done that, because I have so many powerful spells. That 25% chance of throwing the robot isn't, the risk to reward isn't worth it. I did it because I knew it doesn't matter. This isn't a proper battle. I would take more of those chances on stream. I would take like the 10%.
That makes me sad, because I was playing that battle like, this is it. I'm throwing everything I've got at this to see if I can. And if you were only operating just a little bit, we could have won.
I was taking bigger chances. I would have
Oh no, now you say so.
What do you mean? Like I was taking like the stuff that would look cool, because I'm like, how often am I going to get to do this? So I was like, cool, I'll take the big swings. But there was massive reward because it ripped off half of its health.
That was so cool.
I would be more of a coward, and I would have fireballed it or something, or like banished it.
We needed a firewall. We needed some AoE control, because those guards were fun. I know that some people play the game and they're sort of like more evil aligned, and they probably would go ahead and kick off a battle with the Baldur's Gate guard. But our characters are more like good alignment, and so we're not doing that. And it was a crazy battle, because the game mechanics are really interesting, like the way that they have the NPCs all working together as these little units, where someone's casting a buff spell, someone's doing mass heal, someone's doing this, and it was really difficult to last as long as we did. I think we lasted maybe 6 rounds. Maybe 7?
Yeah, that sounds about right. We all like were knocked out multiple times and then brought back up.
Yeah, a lot of death saving throws. And then we wound up in prison, which was interesting. So we were put into the jail where we were then stripped of all. Yeah, one person died. We were stripped of all of our stuff. So then it's just whatever you have in your class base, that whatever magic you have with you and your punching skills. And Ian decided to kick off several battles with where we were confined in a jail cell. And somebody summoned a fire elemental with like 120 hit points into the cell with us. It was just messing with us. It was a lot of crazy. It was fun to go Chaos Beast in that. And It is a really interesting game.
Yeah, it was fun. I love that game so much.
I want to play it today, but I have so much to do. I have to do stupid house chores. It's Saturday, guys. I got house chores to do. Oh, hi, J.A.
Hi, Jay.
It's good to see you.
Wow, YouTube being a dick.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll find out in the edited episode.
We're out too, Phil. We are out
Bye, guys.
too. Have a great Saturday. We'll see you next week. Bye.